You know what I like about Dali is that there was a meeting of the opposition parties which was called by Zuma. And I said, I'm not going. So I asked Floyd and Marshall to attend the SG. They went and Dali was there. Dali went to make a presentation of a paper in that first meeting where he said the EFF must close down with the other parties and then form something under Zuma's leadership. I mean, things happen the way they happen. I mean, Floyd and Marshall, you know him, he's just there and he speaks when it is necessary. But Floyd is the one who was leading the discussion. Who said, no ways, it's not going to happen, and all of that. And then he comes back extremely shocked that Dali is not only proposing it, he has written it down. He has had time to think about it and wrote it down. So I said, no. So then we agreed that we must meet, all parties must go consult their leadership, blah, blah. What is our position? I said, but that's madness. We can't do that. We closed the EFF to Zuma. Not 1 year. It was not even formed at that time. To what? Like, to do what? I don't understand that. Then perhaps Dali realizes they are not doing a good job. He comes himself to me when they were all there as the officials in the 5th floor. He says, no, he wants to see me. I said, no, sharp, come. But I knew what he was going to tell me. So I brought Floyd and I brought Marshall into the meeting. And then he said that. He says, so I told him, no, it's not going to happen. I don't agree with that. And there's no EFF that is going to close shop. In his skillful way, you know, him said, okay, plus we are late now in the elections. Maybe after the elections, we can engage about it again. I said, no problem. And then, again, Floyd and Marshall went back to the meeting to give their party structures a position. They came back and said to me, the president of ATM, Zungula, said, of all of us here, parties, the only party with a national footprint, which is properly established with machinery, is the EFF. Let's collapse this thing. Let's collapse all of us into the EFF. All of I was in that meeting. That president of the PAC was there. I don't know if Carl Neos was there or what. They were all there. I still refuse. I said, I'm not going. I'm not part. I don't agree with that. And then that's what they said. Zungula is the one who said, actually, the EFF is the way. Then Zuma responded and said, no. Can you imagine an old person voting for EFF? These old people will never agree to vote for the EFF. And he told them the footprint of how, if we come together, we're going to get the votes from where, and all of that. And then after the second meeting, we came back. Then they said, no, Zuma wants to see me. 4 eyes. I said, no problem, I'll go. Dali says he's going to come, but I already know what Dali is up to. So I bring Vuyani. I said, Vuyani, let's go together. No, when we entered the meeting, President Zuma asked me to stay in the meeting with him. And then Dali and some other chubby guy, I can't remember what was his name, but he came from President Zuma's side, and Vuyani asked them to excuse us so that we can have a discussion. So I remained with President Zuma. He started making that presentation and all of that. But Floyd told me that in the first meeting, Zuma addressed them for 3 hours. In the second meeting, it was relatively better. He addressed them for 2 hours. So I said, how do you allow that? They said, hey, we're thinking maybe General will stop him or something. Hey, but we sit there and just listen. I said, no problem. So when they said he wants to see me, 10, 15 minutes into the discussion, I interjected him because at the back of my mind was like, you're not going to address me for 2 hours. It's not going to happen. Not 3 hours. I said, no, Baba, but I was thinking. you endorse the EFF. And then after endorsing the EFF, we'll have a proper discussion because we are now late, just on the eve of the elections. And then we can talk about what are the issues that you want us to take up in the immediate and all of that. And then he said, well, it's too late because I'm launching a party on the 16th of December. And I think we're like 2 weeks, 3 weeks before that. So hard luck. But let's take up this discussion after the elections. The meeting ended. If it took long, it's 20 minutes. We're done. And then we opened the door for those guys to come back. They were all like, so quick. I was like, no, we know what we want. Because it was not going to happen. I don't regret our position that which we took against President Zuma at the time. And this I asked Floyd if he thinks he has forgiven us for what we have done to him. I don't think he has forgiven us for that. And it doesn't matter, but we were not misled. We're not misled. Everything else we articulated, it was a correct position of the EFF, and it remains the correct position of the EFF. Having developed those positions around Zuma as the EFF, we now say this guy must now be our leader. We can't agree to that. We can't agree to that. So, and that's the thing I respect about Dali, because he has been open about it. He has been speaking about it. And one day, when I write a book, I will have a lot of stories to tell. Even on how Dali became Zuma's lawyer on some of these matters. So, so this morning, when I woke up to the news, I was like, it is what it is. Yeah, so he has sent me a message. First, he sent me a message about the birthday of his daughter turning 21st. So I didn't respond because I could see what Dali was doing. So I knew if he sends me invitation to a 21st birthday party, it means he has sent to everyone, which means we're all going to be united under Dali's leadership. And then he's going to project himself as this guy who brought all of them under one roof. So I said, no, I'm not responding because I'm not going there. And then he sent me now a text a few days after that he wants to see me urgently because he knows Parliament is in recess. He can come to the office, or I go to his house, or he comes to my house. I didn't respond. And because we are so used to this now, my wife says to me, he wants to say his goodbyes. No. I'm not good for. I'm not good for goodbyes. So
to the end of
I'm fine. I don't want. So let him do what he wants to do. So we respect his decision, and there's nothing we can do about it. He has been there. I know of the work they've been doing. I know of the work he has been doing and all of that. So this has never been a shock to me. It was just about when is it about to happen. It's going to happen anytime, but we just don't know when. So it eventually happened, and we're fine.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to SAFA's Daily, your go-to source for the latest news, insights, and in-depth analysis on South Africa's most pressing stories. So here we dive deep into the current affairs that matter to you, from politics and social issues to trending stories and everything shaping the nation today. We bring you clear, factual reporting and sharp commentary designed to keep informed and engaged with the latest happenings across South Africa. Stay subscribed and stay updated with SAFS Daily, where we bring you the stories, facts, and perspectives that drive our nation forward. Now, today we are reporting on the departure of Advocate Dali Mpofu from the EFF. Now, he has officially left the party to join the MK party. initiated by former President Jacob Zuma. Now, this shift represents a significant political move, especially as Mpofu was known for his long-standing role within the EFF and close association with party leader Julius Malema. Now, alongside Mpofu, Floyd Shivambu, the EFF's deputy president, former deputy president, is another prominent member who has left for the MK party. Now, Malema, in response to the announcement of Dali Mpofu's departure, posted on X, and I quote, said, "Only two more of your favorites remain, and the list will be finalized. They sing beautifully and are always willing to pose for pictures and sing roll calls. But remember, their souls are long gone. To prevent any potential hurt, it's crucial to heed the guidance of the leadership. We remain standing and are not going anywhere under a criminal syndicate." Now, close quote. Now, people have been speculating that it's most likely Dlozi that Julius Malema refers to as sing beautifully. And they've been, people on X have been speculating again about who the other person is. So we will stay tuned and, keep our eyes open to just see and hear what happens in the months to come. And see if Julius Malema's words come to fruition. But the recently formed MK party, which is aligned with former President Jacob Zuma, it really is drawing considerable attention as some prominent EFF members leave the EFF to join it. Now, Jacob Zuma has previously framed the MK party as a corrective force aimed at rescuing the ANC, arguing that it will realign with the ideals of South Africa's liberation struggle. Now, Zuma has reaffirmed his loyalty to the ANC itself, declaring that he would remain a member until his death, but sees the MK party as a way to restore the ruling party's original mission. Now, he's also currently appealing the expulsion from the ANC whilst being a member of the MK party. Now, Dali Mpofu's departure or resignation from the EFF marks a pivotal shift in South Africa's political landscape. As, again, a founding member or someone that was there in the early days of the EFF and a respected figure in South African law and politics, his departure from the party that he essentially was a part of early on raises questions about ideological tensions and the future dynamics within left-wing South African politics. Now, Mpofu says that his departure is to be seen as motivated by ideological evolution rather than conflict within the EFF. Now, his recent alignment with the MK party reflects a commitment to anti-imperialist and veteran-centered values. In the SABC interview that he had where he broke the news, Mpofu emphasized that his decision aligns with his belief in addressing issues that resonate with South Africa's liberation struggle. Now, this shift indicates a divergence between EFF's current priorities and Mpofu's own evolving views on leadership and policy, especially regarding national sovereignty, economic independence. Now, EFF leader Julius Malema publicly respected Mpofu's decision, describing it as personal choice. Malema acknowledgement suggests that the EFF recognizes the impact Mpofu's departure might have, especially as it comes amid speculations of potential resignations from other high-profile members. Now, Malema's comments also imply that the EFF leadership is working to maintain internal cohesion, especially as South Africa prepares for a politically changed period of political leadership leading up to the upcoming local government elections. Now, Malema's response reflects a balancing act where he must reassure the party members and followers, whilst also acknowledging potential risks posed by more people leaving the party. And Dali Mpofu's move has implications for the EFF and potentially beyond the EFF. But we are yet to really see the full impact of that in the months to come. Now, the political landscape in South Africa is growing increasingly fragmented, with the MK party offering another option that could, seems to resonate with demographics, perhaps seeking a middle ground between the NC loyalty and EFF's radicalism. Now, the MK party's focus on liberation principles might also appeal to a segment of the population concerned with upholding the legacy of South Africa's anti-apartheid struggle. Now, in the recent EFF podcast, where they've shared a clip of an interview with Lee Ann, where Julius Malema shared significant details about Advocate Dali Mpofu's departure from the EFF and some of the strategic discussions within the party. Now, Malema disclosed that Mpofu had previously suggested a drastic proposal for the EFF to disband in favor of a coalition with former President Jacob Zuma's supporters and other progressive movements. Now, this idea aimed to consolidate opposition forces, potentially under the leadership of Zuma, to form a new political party or entity. Now, during this high-level meeting, it included representatives from other political parties, and Mpofu even presented a formal proposal where Julius Malema says Floyd said that Mpofu had a paper that had written where he was making a formal presentation advocating for the EFF to close down to unify with Zuma's movement, the MK party. Now, Malema recounted that Floyd Shivambu, who represented him at the meeting, was taken aback by Mpofu's former presentation advocating for the EFF's dissolution. Now, Malema, however, rejected the proposal outright, viewing the EFF as an independent movement, preferring to keep it distant from other parties. It's very crazy. It seems, Dali Mpofu did also mention during the exclusive interview with the SABC, where he shared that he had long known about the plans of the MK party, and he mentioned that he was actually part of the very, very early conversations with Jacob Zuma. So he has long known what the plan of the MK party were, right? And so this conversation really highlights the ongoing realignments within South African opposition parties or opposition politics and the ideological divisions that have emerged. And we are waiting to see what's going to happen as the EFF, prepares for its December elective conference, amid all these shifts in the leadership ranks. Now, the broader implications of these moves are still unfolding. Some, South African political analysts are noting the potential realignment of loyalties and a huge shake-up in the opposition landscape. Now, at this rate, we have to wonder if the aim of the MK party is to collapse the NC and the EFF. Maybe it's just a collateral, or is it the aim to collapse the EFF as a strong opposition? So far, it's the top leadership of the EFF that is leaving. So we are talking about people who have been at the forefront. Some were even there at the inception of the EFF. Now, Julius Malema's response on the podcast seemed very calm and very clear. He related the events and the story of what had happened very soberly. And personally, you can't really help but believe him. He seemed very sincere in what he was saying. And it's just so many questions, come out of all of this that has happened. How can the EFF leadership expect the EFF to collapse to the MK, a newly formed party, and in a sense, an NC party? Because Jacob Zuma himself has said that, he's still, a member, and he's still fighting to get back to the ANC. So why are all these people who have left leaving one by one? Why are they not just leaving at once if indeed it is the case that they've always known? They've known for a long time, and clearly, they've made up their minds that they're leaving the MK, the EFF rather. So why are they just not leaving at the same time? Are they trying to collapse the EFF? And it's just, it's a shady move. It really seems like the agenda is malicious, in my opinion. If it is nothing personal, then why behave like this? It's not like, these people have been in the EFF for a very long time. It's been years. So, but also, what about their credibility as political leaders in politics in general and in the MK in particular, where they're moving to? The thing is, are they not worried about their credibility, their name in the politics space as leaders in the MK? Do they really think, Zuma supporters, who they were very vocal against, with the Nkandla scandal, that Floyd was also at the forefront of it, of, wanting Zuma to be held accountable. It's like, do you think, Zuma supporters, because he has really like loyal supporters, does he think that the supporters have forgiven him? Does he really think that he has a future in the MK that he wouldn't have had in the EFF? These are all the questions that are just like running through people's minds and running through my mind. And then, like, does he really think that he has a better future in the MK than he did in the EFF after all things considered? And is he not gonna is not worried about what, this thing hanging over him? I mean, there's still the VBS thing, but there's also still just that, like him, like having been this person who stood up to hold Jacob Zuma to account, and it was a really big thing, and in my personal opinion also led to, Zuma not coming back for the third term, which seemed that he was willing to come back for the third term. And so it's yeah, I guess we'll wait to see what happens, and how everything unfolds. Yeah, and we'll be here to report to you guys. So thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in, and please subscribe, like, and comment in the comment section. What do you think of everything that has happened? What do you think of the future of the EFF and the MK? Do you see the EFF rising above all of this that has happened? And what do you think of the future, the political future of the leaders that were in the EFF who've now left to join the MK? And what do you think of these discussions that apparently happened where the proposal was that the EFF collapses to the MK party? Would this have made sense? Please do let us know in the comment section. And thank you for tuning in. Until next time, bye.